So today we have a rock star in our midst. We're in the presence and in the grace of a fire-powered artist and an exceptional vocalist. Of course, we're talking about none other than GoodGirl LA. Hi, LA.
Hi, everybody. What's going on?
Yeah. So how are you feeling today?
Amazing. I mean, the sun is shining. Like, the energy today is just high. Like, it's just positive. Like, you know, wake up every day and just love life. You know, period.
Isn't it too hot today? You said the sun is shining. It's pretty hot.
Man, it's perfect. And sometimes when I say the sun is shining, I'm also referring to myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to think of myself as the sun. Okay. You know, yeah. So I'm shining along with the sun. Like, it's a sunny day. Sunny days are happy days. Come on, man. You know, so
you're radiating today. We can all see that.
Exactly.
They're gonna see that on YouTube. So where do we even begin? Let's start with LA herself. What's so special about LA? What sets you apart?
First of all, I feel like that question, first of all, always sounds like the answer always feels like it's gonna be like braggy.
No.
Because then you have to now describe, oh, I think my talent, I think my voice is really like, it always gets like that for me. But still, I don't know, I mean, no one else is me. That's my power, you know, that's my superpower, you know. And my talent, pretty much, my voice, just the essence of who I am.
So I mentioned powerhouse because you were essentially born into music. You've said you've been singing since you could talk, and you've referenced people like Tubaba, Whitney Houston, all of them as like inspirations. So what was the first song you remember singing from start to finish?
It'll probably be a poem. It'll probably be a very unexpected song. Yeah, because you know, when you start to talk, like before you even probably start to talk, like you definitely pick up on music. So I definitely won't remember, but when I was young, I watched a lot of Michael Jackson, you know, his performances and everything. I watched a lot of Michael Jackson performances. I watched a lot of Britney Spears performances. There's this CD my dad bought me. So Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, and later on Beyonce, especially Rihanna. Yeah, so you know, I've learned, you know, so much from those people. I'm influenced by them. I'm inspired by them. I'm inspired by Lady Gaga too. That's someone that's really out the box and very unconventional. You know, like she wakes up and she just does stuff, and it's just art. You know, that has really influenced me as an artist. Like I'm very very open, very fluid with my ideas, with how I execute them, with how the sound goes, with how the visuals look, with how I look, you know, with how with how the
You're
images,
well choreographed,
you know. Well, not necessarily. I just always make sure that when I see things and when I feel things, you know, I bring them to pass. Like I don't just like, I make sure that my ideas are real and authentic to me. Like I don't just do things off the top. Like, but that's why sometimes when people ask me, what's your favorite song, like from yourself, I can't tell because they're all my babies. Like they all mean something to me, like, you know.
So your discography, even though it's not like you have like 2 or 3 EPs right now.
No, just an
LA,
EP.
LA Confidential.
Yes, there was an LA Confidential Boomplay EP.
Okay. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, you've mentioned, funny story, my mom used to play Thriller, so we used to have the big vinyl disc, and she used to play Thriller. I used to cry. I used to bawl my eyes out because I was so scared of Michael Jackson for the Thriller video, but I loved him as an artist, but I just hated Thriller. So I get the external influences, but who was someone close to you that kind of guided you creatively? Because like you say, you seem to have a firm grasp of how the visuals look and all of these things. So who was guiding you on a personal level? Like, who were you looking up to?
My mom.
Okay.
My mom is a natural born singer. She's a natural born alto singer. She's really gifted. Like if my mom's singing in the next room, you probably think she's crying. Like her voice is very emotional, and that's where I got that soul, that depth from. That's who I got it from. And she didn't get to become an artist like for real. So I feel like every time I sing, I'm doing it like hard. Like she didn't get to do that. So she always believed in me. Like she just always knew that I was gonna get it. Like she didn't know how, but she just knew like I trust her. Was my mom. Oh wow.
So she supported that. So how did you now start writing music? How did you actually fully delve into it?
Every time I used to scribble on my book in class. Like the teacher could be talking and I'll just hear a weird line in my head and I'll just turn my book. I have a particular part where I go to write them. So I always used to scribble, and that translated into I'm like, I could make a whole song, and I started piecing it together. I think the first song I wrote was like maybe 8 bars, four lines.
Do you remember the lyrics?
No, I don't remember lyrics, but I have it somewhere.
Okay.
4 bars. There was a lot of them. Like it's hard to pinpoint this was the first one because I'm always scribbling and putting melodies to what I'm scribbling, even if it's 2 lines. I always used to do that a lot. So later on, I then started to actually make songs, and I was writing songs for a long while without getting in the studio.
You've had quite the journey. You've done courier business to kind of fund your music. There's this aspect of you that I must say kind of intrigues me. You have this kind of like gangster, like I'm a Mercu, but you still have this wholesome vibe. And I was reading up that you grew up in Nigerian. So what was streets like? Where did you learn the protocols of ends? And how did you balance that with being the good girl?
Okay, so I didn't grow up in Nigerian. I was born there.
Okay, born there.
I was born there. And immediately I was born, my dad hammered. In a way, you get. So we moved to like Festac area, Festac, Maza. I went to Hobby College, and so that culture still, obviously, there's definitely still that blood, that Ajegule, like that's where I was born. Like no matter what, that's where I'm from, and that's real life, But then moving to Festac, that was a very musical hood. Okay. I mean, if you know Lagos, you know that Festac is a very musical hood. I mean, two babas from Festac. I see so many people. There's someone else I found out recently. I can't remember, but so many people, come out from those areas. And I stayed there and I listened to a lot of music. That's why I listened to a lot of Two-Face growing up. A lot of Two-Face and all the Afrobeat that was, up at that point. And then later on, I moved to Ojo again. Yes. So those are like my 3 hoods. It's not just Ajegule. It's Ajegule, it's Festac, and it's Ojo. And I rep for them because, that is my life and it can't be taken away. I walk the streets pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Like,
yeah, I've that lasso, that Festac. So I've always had that kind of music around me. That's why sometimes when people listen to my music, my songwriting and everything, and sometimes it seems like, oh, how can she write like this and like that? It's because I listen to a lot of foreign stuff, but I was part of the streets, so there will always be that mix. That's who I am.
So you've mentioned Tubaba now. Right now we're having another renaissance in Nigerian music. Do you think that our current generation of artists are, upholding that generation, the Daddy Shokis, the Tubabas? We're upholding their legacy. And you as an artist, what do you think you take from there and bring yourself into?
I actually think that we do still regard every single legend that has done this. Like, we pay respect to them every day. Like different artists. Like sometimes I go into Oxley's story and I see him post a very old artist, like maybe him just vibing to a song or something. There was a time I was in Abuja and I heard Blacky's Can I Have a Dance? Rosie, come on, and stuff like that. And I remember me and him talking in the DM, and you'd probably never guess that I'm speaking to someone like that from those years. You'd probably never guess that.
What's it like talking to Tubaba?
just very chill. You know, Mama is very chill. I'm very humble, and it feels like I'm talking to my age mate, like my friend. You know, that's how it feels. He's just really very down to earth. But I know that we really still do carry on their legacy. Like there's someone now that reminds me of the black eye. Remember there used to be an artist that had like a patch over his eye.
Yeah.
Baba Frayo.
Yeah.
You remember that whole piece? Yeah. Now when I see Ruga sometimes I'm like, that looks like, when I see Ruga sometimes I'm like, that looks like that. Like that's our culture still being passed down. The way artists still idolize Fela, and we still, we still carry forward the legacy. You know, right now we're trying to get him in the Hall of Fame on Twitter. All of that. I mean, like, trust me, Generation Z, millennials, whatever, we still respect the culture. It is our culture. It's never dying. We're moving it forward. It's growing. Like up.
I love that you're so passionate about just culture in general, and it reflects in your music. But
there's no culture, no us.
True.
For real.
True. So going through your discography from songs like Far Away to Djaji, even like Bando, different spectrums.
Yep.
As an artist though, do you feel like is there any pressure on you to have a specific leaning, or are you just is this really a representation of LA spectrum, your range?
It is the R&B girl, the pop girl, the dancehall bop girl, like
the road girl,
like that's who I am, and I'm someone that makes music. Like I like to experiment with a lot of things, and I like to make music. Sometimes my mood determines what I make. If someone breaks my heart, I cannot control that. I'm going to get in the studio and make a heartbreak song, and it's going to drop and somebody's going to relate to it. I'm going to be happy and I'm going to make a song like Bando. Or I probably just survived 2020. Bando is me talking about making money and turning up. Of course. I just survived 2020 and I'm like, oh my god, that was hell. I need to make a song to dance to. And I make Bando. Or I could probably be pissed and make a song like JJ. Or I could be depressed and make a song like Bless Me. I don't limit it because I know, let the world have it. I remember when I went to drop Bless Me, everybody was like, oh, it doesn't have drums, it's not the normal song that people can and everything. But it really still got across to people because it's a message, it's music, it's real. Like, you don't have to put it in a box, like you don't have to expect anything from me, like for real. That's how I look at it.
Fair.
That's how I look at it. But every time you press play on a GoodGirl early record, you will know that that's how. Still, cause like I said, it's my essence, it's me, it's my voice, and that doesn't change, that doesn't go away. So it's the same person.
Fair. So you were talking about heartbreak song, Far Away. Like I said, off air, really stuck out to people because of how distinct your voice is. But you were talking on the song. You were like, they look my side basically, and it's like, how does a pretty girl, a beautiful woman like you, be in a situation where man's not looking your way? And how did you deal with that situation?
Well, first of all, girls wasn't this pretty then, and not everyone can see potential. Not everyone can see you for who you really are. Not everyone. It's not everybody likes good things, and that's fine. It's not everyone that likes good things, and that's fine. And actually, I still, the best thing about that song is that song was my revenge. Like, I used that song to get back at that guy, and today it still hurts. Yeah, that song was my revenge. And then he gave me more success, so he still ended up chasing me, and then I didn't want it. So it's just like, who won? I made some bucks off you messing around.
You laughed last.
It was good. It was good, bro. No, exactly. So that's why I'm like, if it happens, I'm gonna make some money off it. For real.
So where was I even going to go next? You mentioned a word, fluidity. It shows again in your fashion sense. and it shows in the reception people have to you. So you get a lot of love from guys, you get a lot of love from girls. What's the difference between love languages between guys and girls, in your opinion?
Love languages, sometimes it's not really about the girl and the guy. To me, love languages, they're just universal. A girl and a guy can have the same love language. It's just about what you like. It's just about what you like, pretty much. But sometimes girls are more upfront. Like I rock with girls like a lot, because I feel like women are divine and they are the most special things walking the earth. So what else? I mean, we're Gucci. Like, we're not Gucci in terms of like it's like Gucci like good. Yes, the slang. Yeah. So women are just amazing anyways. Like, my female fans, like female Republicans, they're amazing. Like, they make sure everyone hears it, like, you know. And women are very forward with their stuff. So I just rock with women. I rock with men too. I mean, I'm here for the boys and everything, but women are special.
Indeed they are. Back to fashion sense though. Where does your fashion sense come from? Because 1 minute you're wearing a skirt, next minute you're sagging. Like, right now you got some Air Jordans on. Like, where is it coming from? Teach us the drip.
It's like I said with the music. It's just who I am. I really like to experiment, and I like to do things on the go. I'm very spontaneous with how I feel when I wake up in the morning. If I want to wear shorts that day, I don't care what's going on. I don't care who it is I gotta be. I'll wear shorts because I feel like wearing shorts. If I want to wear a big hoodie, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be over my head, and I don't want to talk to nobody. Period. Yeah, but there are days where I'm like, I look in the mirror and I feel like an enchantress, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear a short skirt. Like, I do that. But then fashion also growing up was like a means of survival.
How?
Okay, so now in Lagos, obviously growing up in those areas, like I said, when I want to go somewhere, and I want to go to maybe I want to go to the island, and I'll just think, okay, I feel fly express, so I feel fly back at 1.2, I feel do this, I feel do that. I'm not gonna wear short skirt, bro. I'm going to wear trousers and wear like trainers and like be on the go. And then again, when I was in Calabar, I spent some time in Calabar when I was forced to school. Yeah. So I spent some time in Calabar. When I was in Calabar, there was this part I stayed in. It's called Anantra. It's in the south, and it's really rough. The part that I was in, like the area of Anantra that I was in, was really rough. So in the night, you have to walk like you're a tout for you not to get approached.
Area.
You have to hug you have to keep your bag the same way, walk the same way, you know, like. So me staying in that place for a while, and obviously dressing that way to school, to not get a lot of attention, to just, you know, get in, go out, nobody turning. So I've always flipped like that in between looks, you know, want to glam up, want to do this, want to do that. But every single time you see me looking the same way, trust me, that's what I want to put on. It's not for how people feel or what I want people to think. I'm comfortable, I'm good.
Fair. So, but I still think you get a lot of attention though. Do you? And how do you maybe not define your space, but how do you ensure that you feel safe at all times?
So I feel like I'm a natural filter for like kind of people that not just approach me, but like actually get into my life, you know, because there are things, when you have standards, when you have boundaries, when you love yourself, there's certain people that can't have access to you, you know. So when you get to that point of self-love and peace, you know, and really being in touch with yourself, people can't just come in like they like. Yeah, you know. So that already is a filter for who comes towards me. My boundaries, you know,
You mentioned it's one of your superpowers to tell who is real and who is fake.
I have.
Yeah, you have. You said that. You said that.
I actually have. Yeah. I grew up doing everything on my own, like being on my own, like being out here trying to get it, you know. So I've always had to develop that mindset, that intuition, always being close to the Holy Spirit and knowing exactly when to, you know, how to scan people. it's just being aware of your surroundings, and guarding yourself, protecting your energy.
Being in tune with your emotions seems to play a huge part for you.
Mastering your emotions.
So, mastering your emotions, that's interesting. We'll come back to that. But have you undertaken any formal music training?
I went to the Music School of Nigeria. I studied music theory for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was after uni?
This was after I broke out of uni. Literally broke out.
Anytime you talk about uni, and I relate because I dropped out too. But anytime you talk about anytime you talk about it almost as if you were stifled. Mm-hmm. Was that the emotion you felt in school? Was it that you weren't doing what you wanted, or you just didn't see it as amounting to much for you in your path?
I wasn't doing what I wanted. I knew what I wanted from the start, but it always happens. Your parents love you so much and they want to force you to do something else. I mean, it always happens. My dad felt like, oh, you're smart, you could get these grades, go to school. And then me too, I went to the hall and mistakenly passed, so I had to go.
You had to continue the studies.
I had to go. I had to go, but it wasn't what I loved. I wasn't happy. Every day I woke up and I went. It felt like I was waiting to start leaving. Every day I woke up like, okay, I'm going to go to school so that later I can now sing. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought about every single day I woke up. Like, it felt like I was waiting for my life to start. And I'm like, wait though. I can hear something behind me. And I thought that is the time. I said, what am I doing here? I don't love it. Like, I'm sorry. I just, all I remember is I came back to Lagos one day and I never went back. They will build my bags to me. Because I'm just like, I gotta start my life. My dreams. No. Even if I have no way of getting there, or I don't know how I'm going to get there, let me just, come on, let's just go.
Were you stubborn as a kid, rebellious?
Yes, I was.
Did that get you in a lot of trouble? Family, teachers?
Actually, I wasn't rebellious in school. Mm-hmm. My grades were good. I was a prefect. Everything was fine. I was just probably... They just knew that I was a weird one, but with my hairstyles and everything. And when I became social prefect, I made everybody wear the weird hairstyles with me.
So and you used your power to make people wear.
Not necessarily. They liked it because it was different. It was different because it was different from everything everybody else. I mean, if you've gone to school, you can relate to what I'm saying right now. It was
I used
different
to hate cutting my hair.
Yeah, it was different from what every prefect had given them. When I was prefect, I'd be making like one braids, one. I mean, like, imagine GoodGirl is your social prefect. No, just wait. Imagine GoodGirl. Turn up every other day, for real. Yeah. So that's what it was back then.
I don't know if you mind me asking. Did growing up in a religious household make you lean towards counterculture more? Or you just naturally just...
And we were really just later on. It didn't start out like that. Our family didn't start out like that. Like, my dad was really gangster. And he was always traveling, and he would go here, go to Dubai and wear the Arabian things and do wild stuff. Like, my dad was gangster, you get. So later on, when we became more religious, I already picked up on some cultures, and I already had that music in me already. I already had that vibe. I already like, there was nothing that could stop it. I mean, I grew up in an area that was musical. There was nothing, even if we don't have those CDs in the house and they don't play, I hear them outside. I'd hear them from my friend's phone or on the internet, or I get a music lyric book. You know how lyric books used to be those days now. Like, I mean, there was no way to stop me, period.
You're unstoppable.
There was no way. Like, there was this particular night, Two-Face was playing from a bar, like a club place across the street, and I was singing in the room. Man, I call me to you're singing secular music. So crazy stuff like that, but it's like, it was just meant to be, like, pretty much.
So you escaped from school. you're living the dream, you have a hit record. I think that's when your record label debacle hit, right? Was it before or after Far Away?
After Far Away.
Right.
When Far Away dropped.
Okay. Yeah. You said the record label almost killed you.
Yeah, they came for me for real. You know a lot about me. What the?
You said I know a lot. It's just research. So, music is glamorous, but there's the real aspect to it. So that's why even before I was like, I'm interested to know what your team consists of now. But how did you reconcile the realities of the music industry at that point? How did you believe in yourself, and then how did you get out of that situation? Because I'm really intrigued by this story, because I think it's important we also share it so that people that look up to you can also have an understanding. Yeah. So do you mind sharing that?
It's just my intuition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they pull up on you?
Yeah, sort of. Awesome. Well, not necessarily pull up on me, but it was just some stuff that was just not meant to go that way. It was just some drama, some unnecessary, stuff, and it was just how I dealt with it was, oh, okay, all right, let's keep going. Literally, yeah, because nothing is more important to me than my dream. So everything else just seems like okay. Literally, irrelevant. When stuff goes there, I just be like, okay, is that what we're gonna do? I'm gone. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So but it's always just business, and it never stops for anybody. Like it's a gift that keeps on giving. This music was a gift, like from God, and it keeps on giving. Like you can't stop it. Pretty much. And I never one thing I just say is like, it's just the normal concept of life. Like nothing is easy, but never let anything get you down the process still. Like you have to really want it, and just keep going. Pretty much just keep going. Like in the studio, make another song.
But besides being a creative person and a gangster, I know you're a very intelligent person. So how did you do research? How did you build your business acumen up? And what advice would you have for, say, young people who might be at that crossroads between completing school and fulfilling their parents' wishes and having a vision for themselves?
Okay, so because I hadn't really known like a lot, because I was, like my family was doing so much to shield me from, but I made sure that I always learned, because that's the best thing. Like always find a way to learn, even when no one is teaching you, even when no one is there to teach you. Always find a way to learn. Look for scraps of knowledge. Look for knowledge. Like just look for like find a way to know something, even if you can't afford some things that you want to know, you want to have, or you want to learn. Just always find a way. Like start where you are, use what you have. Pretty much. And that was what I did. So that's the advice I would still give if I want to give an advice. Like just start where you are, use what you have. Don't wait for nobody, because ain't nobody come knock on your door. Like get out and go get it. Like simple. Like just work on yourself. Like grow. Just make sure you're growing. Make sure you're learning. Because that's what I did. I just try to learn all the time. Every little chance that I got, every little chance that I got, and I made sure I invested in myself. Because like I said, you don't have to wait for someone to come give it to you. Like I made sure I invested. Like most of the time when people used to look at me like, oh, she wears the same jeans. That's because I'm trying to pay for my songs. Now I got more clothes than them though.
You got a lot more drip than they do.
So I just invested. So just invest in yourself. Make the sacrifice. Like believe in your dream. Like don't wait for nobody. They ain't gonna see your vision. See it for yourself and just get it. Go and get it. Period.
Okay. As a person who has a lot of thoughts jumping in their mind, how do you get yourself, like say I want to pull up for a studio session, what's your creative process like? How do you get in the zone?
Most of the time I'm already on a phase where I want to record. Sometimes I put myself on a camp and I'm just like, okay, it's music making time. But there are times where I'm making the music on guidance. Sometimes I might get a melody I don't know if I need to make that or not. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, maybe I need to work with this person next, or maybe I need to do this next. Like, God will always just direct you. I mean, pretty much. And once you just follow your purpose, it maps itself out all the time. Yeah. So
you've worked with Focus, you've worked with Sinex, P Prime. Who's your go-to producer?
Type A, P Prime. I've worked with a lot of people. Amuje, Magician. There's Blaze. There's UC. Spotless. I'm skipping so many people. I'm skipping so many people, but there's a lot of go-to. Like a recipe, but my main guy though, that's Amuje.
Okay.
Amuje, Type B. I have so many people close to me, like my bros. Amuje, Type B is another my bro. It's a lot of them.
So we had Vector on a couple weeks ago. Of course, you guys have a song together, Early Momo. Fantastic song, by the way. How did that collaboration come about?
So I was going somewhere for a meeting, and I got there and Vector was there, and it's like, oh, nice to meet you, everything he says is working on this album, can you be on the track? And I'm like, oh, that's great, we could do that. So we linked up that day, played a couple of beats, and that just happened to be the one. And it was just really fluid, organic. Like, we just sat down, just vibing, talking and recording, pretty much.
What about Bando? How'd you come up with that song? Was this a New Year jam?
Okay. Yeah, too. Also, yes, it was like, that was what it was for. How crazy 2020 was. I was like, yo, let's do something fun.
That song's going crazy though. A lot of love. Every day your story is filled with people vibing to that song.
Every day. So Bando was I remember speaking to the producer Amuje. I'm like, yo, like we spoke and he already knew what I was on to, so he started to make something. Like this is like what she's on to right now, because we had spoken. He started to make something. When I got there, it was just like the piano, just skeletons of the beat. And we heard it first, it was like driving a Bando. Then he was like, you let me record. He said, I finished. I said, yeah, I know, but I already know that idea is gonna so when I recorded, I just kept going so I was having that much fun making the melodies, pretty much.
Pina, another song that stands out to me, you drifted into high life there. In fact, it kind of reminds me of Flavor. What was that session like? And
Pina is in my language.
Okay, what's your language?
Kroshura.
Which one?
Bahumuno language. That's Bahumuno. Bahumuno language. Yes.
So what was the session like?
That was Prime. That was the early years. That was when Prime just really started getting his production like stuff on, and we always used to be up in the studio just cooking stuff, trying sounds, trying to make our sound strong, and everything. So I remember we were having this conversation, and then we started vibing, and for some reason we went on High Life, and then I started singing, I know if I like Katasha. I'm like, we should do this real. And then we made the record, and it was like, okay. Yeah, that was how that happened.
Another thing you've mentioned, I think this is another long-term goal of yours, that you want to be Nigeria's international export.
Not really. I've never said that.
You did. I think it was
not in those words.
But you want to be like the Nigerian Afropop's ambassador, basically.
Definitely, Africa's ambassador. Definitely.
How do you bring that? How do you make that a reality? And who's the team behind GoodGirl LA as well?
Every day that I wake, I also pray. Sorry, that's from a song.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so every day that I wake up, it's a work in progress. Like every day, it's one step in that direction. So it's it's a marathon, like you say, it's one step at a time getting there. Like I see in years to come, I see GoodGirl Ellie a household name. I see GoodGirl Ellie not just an all-round entertainer, but like also a healing sensation. Like someone that her music like brings people to life, like helps you find like that realest part that gets to that most vulnerable part of you, like that's where I see her, like spreading the gospel, taking the music obviously, like we said, from the shores of Africa to other parts of the world, making it big, because there's no limit to what can happen. Our music is great and the world needs to hear it. Pretty much, and that's the message, just from here to here, and every day it's a work in progress. It's a tiny step, every day.
So are you still independent?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, but I have a team of people.
You're still managed by the Zone?
No. Okay. I have a team of people who believe in me, who love me, who see things in my direction, and it's just amazing. It's just lovely. It's just family.
But being independent, of course, you don't have that backing. The good part is nobody's gonna drop you, but the bad part is you literally have to push yourself. So have you been able to navigate that again?
My team.
Your team.
Still.
The family
holding
that I have. Together.
My team. I mean, like, they're not just my team for like maybe hands-on stuff. Like, they're my team in every way. Like it's like it's a family business. Okay. It's a family business.
I get you.
Pretty much.
So you've said something here that reminds me of your other song, Djaji. Life is to be taken easily, not to be rushed. How do you stay centered and be happy with yourself, or even how do you reconcile some days when you're down?
God has been like God is my everything. Yeah, no, has been like God is my everything. Has been my everything. He is my everything. So most of the time, I get my light from the source. Like I get my joy from the source, and that can be cut off. Like no matter where I am, no matter like what's going on, I grew up knowing and loving God, and He has always been with me, so that never goes away, and that's the greatest form of comfort that exists in the world. So I'm good. I'm always good.
So final wrapping up.
Okay.
For LA Confidential, you recorded 30 songs. So I know you're a studio rat. What are you working on? When can we expect the album? Is it time yet?
So there's going to be an EP this year. There's going to be a GoodGirl Ellie EP, and it's going to be the purest sounds from my heart. Like this time I want the world to hear me for who I really am, and to see me like in this light, like, okay, this is who she is, like for real. We've known that cute girl that sings and that came out, and like, but this is the musician now. Like this is the person for real. This is who's behind the image. I want the sound to just be real vulnerable. Like I just want them in on when it's closer to the time of the EP. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to actually finally let everyone in on like the idea behind it and the idea behind the songs and why I would say the things that I would say. You would hear me say in the EP. So there's going to be an EP this year. There's going to be more features, more collaborations, just more energy, just more vibe.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Final question, are you a sports fan?
Nah.
Not a sports fan?
The only sport I like is spending money.
Oh, that's a flex right there. That's a flex right there.
Like, that's a lot of work.
It's a flex,
like,
too.
Have you ever tried spending money? It's a lot of work.
Well,
like, I like to walk blocks just shopping, losing weight, carrying heavy bags. That's the kind of work I like.
Well, on that flex of it, no. Of course, LA, good girl LA. It's been an incredible pleasure speaking to you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're super excited to see what you come with next.
Thank you so much.
This is the Cruise Zone on Radio Now 95.3 FM.